All right, so we're gonna film for Chesney a little prep for washing the dishes because that's where she feels pain in her back sometimes. So we're starting with arms supported on the sink, feet right under, yeah, and you can walk back a little bit. You want your feet right underneath your pelvis, yeah. And you just, just a yummy stretch here. Sending your sit bones wide and back, right, and then just one knee and then the other, getting a stretch through your hip. Long neck. Try not to let your head just hang, but lengthen out. It can look down, but just don't let it hang. You want your shoulders to slide away from your ears. Good. And breathe into the back and side ribs so you get some length there. Good. Now we're going to bring both legs together and we're going to do cat and cow. Yeah, so just where you are, just round the low back, pull the belly up. Good. And then stretch out into extension. Keep your neck long. Don't overhinge your neck. Let the extension happen in your upper back. So your heart is pulling through as you bring your gaze up. Yeah. And then round your back. Curl the tail under and stretch. Draw the belly up. Good. Open the chest. Pull your heart through. One more. Round the back. Draw your belly up. Good. And then lengthen out. Good. And now you're going to stand up, walk your feet forward. And we're going to do a little plank. So step back again, and you want to put your body wherever it feels like the appropriate range of motion for you. We're going to keep the heels down at first. Yeah, and you're really going to draw your rib cage and your belly in. Good. And you're just going to bend your elbows either down to your side or out to the sides. Either one is fine. So put your heels down to start. Yeah. Drop your heels. Good. You can do maybe 6 of those, 8 of those, just a few. You're really working that low belly connection and the rib cage connection. You've got your deep corset on. Good. Now we're going to stretch through the back of the legs. So come back to an angle, and you're going to push one heel back behind you. So you're coming into a lunge. Yeah. Yeah. And you can put both legs back behind you. So coming out of the, yeah, bending one knee and let one heel go down. That's right. So you're just stretching through the back of the leg. Good. We're still feeling the shoulders slide down and the abdominals nice and tight. Good. Do that a couple more times. Stretching through the back of the leg and stretching through the back of the leg. Good. And then walk yourself forward. And we're going to do the rotation. So feet go right underneath the sink and knees touch the door of the sink. Good. Hands go on your shoulders. Elbows slightly forward. So the reason we're putting your knees against the cupboard door is to hold your pelvis still. So you're going to spiral up through the crown of the head and rotate to the right with a little pulse. Exhale, pulse. To the left. Exhale, pulse. Good. Exhale, pulse. And exhale, pulse. So the heels stay heavy. Belly pulls in. Good. And left. Good. And we're going to end with a side stretch. So step back a touch. Let your left arm come up to the sky. And you're going to stretch over to the left, pulling the belly deep so the rib cage points and the hip points stay nice and tight. Yeah, good. And you're reaching down through your left heel. You can open your feet apart a little bit if you want to. Yeah, nice stretch. Imagine your body's in between 2 panes of glass, so don't let your pelvis drop forward. Good, and then come back up. Coming up and going to the other side. Yeah. So if you can imagine your head and your rib cage and your pelvis are against a wall behind you, then that keeps them from falling forward. Yeah, reaching. It looks very good. Big breath into the right rib cage, and then come back up. Good, and now let's take a little video of how you're going to stand at the sink. So instead, before you had your feet kind of far back and you were hinging forward with your hips against the sink. So now you're going to pull the belly back away from the sink. Yeah, and I like to soften my knees a little bit. Yeah, so I'm in a tiny, tiny little squat. And that helps me remember that if I need to go deeper down toward the dishes, I can hinge forward at my hips. Yeah. How's that feel? Right. Yeah, so your weight's in your heels. Your belly's pulled back. Good. So that might feel like a lot of work. Mm-hmm. So you might come and go out of that position. But just pay attention to whether your hips fall forward and if your rib cage and your pelvis get too far apart. Does that make sense?
My rib cage and my pelvis get too far apart.
So if you press your hips forward, notice how your rib cage and your pelvis get further apart. Yeah.
Arch.
Right. So we want to keep the front line tighter and the back line a little longer. Okay. So that's the deep corset. Mm-hmm. And as you do your exercises, and you want to let your sit bones go wide behind you rather than tucking your tail under. And weight in your heels. So you can feel that line from heel to sit bones. Yeah? Does that feel okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, your form looks great.